woo, 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 woo. Instead of woo. A woo. What does it say? Starting ads soon. I just started streaming. Wait, you're being silly. Oh, hello everybody. Welcome. Hello, Tatum Pancake. You were here very early giving me sugar. Thank you. I actually need to get some sugar for real, though. Maybe after stream, I'll get some sugary stuff. I'll go to the grocery store, get some sweet things. Maybe some slice of cake or something yummy. That sounds really good. Hello, Sandman. Hello, Small. Hello, Small. Hello, Sandman again. I'm just going through the chat. One at a time. I'll just repeat it if I have to. Carby, hello, welcome. Shane, hello, Shane, welcome. Morning B, OMG, hi, hello to you too. Hello to you too. Hello. Paige Mustang, hello. Let's go. Hello. Susie Q, welcome. Master Tofu, aren't you from Kung Fu Panda? Wait, no, is that right? Maybe I'm just thinking the master part. Because in Kung Fu Panda, they call each other masters of stuff, I think. I got, what? Cocoa Pebbles from the store. Ooh, that sounds yummy. That sounds really good. As I get really close, I can almost smell them. They're like chocolatey. Welcome back, Ziggbee. We're both Billy and I miss you. Oh, thank you. Alincia. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Treyu's here too. This is perfect. I just had surgery this morning. Oh my goodness! I hope it all went well. That's very. That's very. Oh my goodness.
Tamia Beans gifted a tier 1 sub to Morning BEE.
Ooh.
They have given 11 gift subs in the channel.
Oh, well, thank you, Tammy Beans, for the gifted subscription to Morning. That's so kind of you. Thank you, Big Bean community supporter Tammy. Oh my gosh, I speak so fast you can't understand me. What's that one?
Crabmother_Mickey just resubscribed for 23 months, soon 2 years, 0.
Oh goodness.
Susie just gifted 1 subs.
Oh, I gotta thank everybody then. Crabmother Mickey, thank you for resubscribing at tier 1 and for being subscribed for 23 months. Thank you very much for that. Soon to be 2 years. Oh my gosh, don't tell me that. I'm not sure if there's a new icon for 2 years. There might be a new icon I need to upload for 2-year mark or something like that, I think. Susie Q, thank you for giving on a gifted community subscription. It's very kind of you being a Big Bean community supporter as well. Thank you. And Lady Mustella got it. Congratulations, Lady Mustella, if you're here. Morning B. Yeah, Ziggbee. We miss you. Thank you. Aw, thank you, Werewolf Billy. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say that. Well, that's now that I got all my comforts for today. I guess that's the end of stream. No, today we're planning. Hopefully, Sib will be joining me, and I'll show fan art. We'll play probably some Pictionary, and I think Sib wants to play some Channel Point games, possibly. That's why it says like the casino title. I tried to find an actual casino, but everything's so tall. I can't reach anything. And they always make the chairs and the tables like non-physical. So I go through everything like a ghost. So I was like, I can't, that doesn't help me. No one is talking. What do you mean, Shane? You can hear me, right, though? Hope it gets okay. Wait, I'm missing something. I cannot stay. Oh, work. Oh, Tammy has work. That's right. That's right, Tammy Beans. You have work. So I'm glad you can join just for a little bit and peek in occasionally. I wonder if I should change my time when I stream on Twitch. I have kept it this way for a while. Probably consider moving it. What? Whoa. It's not ferret size? Yeah. Most things aren't ferret size, oddly enough. We need small casino, please. Yes, we need a small miniature one. I can make myself big, kind of, but it looks very strange and it's very awkward to do that, so I don't like to do that typically. Noah, thank you for resubscribing with your Prime and being subscribed for the lucky number 13 months. Thank you very much for that. You know, I was looking at numerology. Okay, listen, first of all, numerology, I don't believe any of that stuff necessarily. I just find it fascinating, kind of like, oh, look at astrology and other cool stuff. Yeah, whatever your spiritual beliefs are, that's yours, and that's fine. You should have unique beliefs of your own. But I was looking, it was found fascinating like this. Okay, so you just add up numbers? Like, I think you could break down, I don't know, I forgot what number 13 means, but there's different numbers that mean different things. Like, there's like numbers that are special, like 1 or 22 or 33, and you could take, I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways. I like to look at random stuff online sometimes. I got a new phone. Fingers crossed it will help with Pictionary. Petring Rat, that's wonderful. Congratulations on your new phone. Hopefully you remember to select the setting to do low latency if you're doing it on your phone, because it'll give you a little bit of a few milliseconds or so, I think, to help you out. Woohoo! Where will Billy miss you in TikTok today? Glad everything is okay. Yeah, Werewolf Billy's gonna do, I think they're gonna do TikTok tomorrow at 1 p.m. They told me they're gonna work on a rabbit Ziggbee, a figure, I believe. If you can correct me if I'm wrong, unless you change your plans or anything, Werewolf Billy, which would be cool to see. Petering Rat, thank you for reminding me about the latency. Oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome. Yes, Bunny Ziggbee. That'll be adorable. That would be adorable. Very fitting for the coming of like the Easter type holidays where you have the magical Easter bunny. I try to find an Easter bunny, but I can't. They're like, I think they have a, oh, that's why they have invisibility spell, I think. That makes sense, actually. And they hide the eggs and stuff and give candies and stuff. It's very nice of that bunny to do that. Small woo. You want to see some fan art? What is this? Wait, what is this? What is this? Oh, you can do pin, Sandman? What is this pin? I'm looking at something that's peering up on my interface here, and like, I haven't seen that before. But yeah, let's look at some fan art stuff. I just only have a couple things, and some cool Werewolf Billy stuff I'll bring up too. Whoa! Whoa! I'm gonna spin too. Whoa! Let's take a look at the first fan art really quick here. This is made, they said that their social medias are under these names usually. I did check on TikTok to confirm that the first one was on TikTok, and it was. It's NAKNOXIS. I think the second one's Nox, I believe. That's an adorable like figure. That's an adorable figure. They made like an ornament Ziggbee for themselves, which is very adorable and cute. I'm so miniature. It's almost like a, what are those little figures called? Chibi, almost like a chibi character of me, which is adorable. It makes me think too, like, that's exciting for Christmas. I know it's way far away though, but and now that Werewolf Billy can make things and stuff of me, which Werewolf Billy is allowed to do that, of course. It'd be cool to see like little ornaments and stuff. I almost want like ornaments for a Christmas tree, like a couple. That'd be pretty poggers. That's a long ways away. You did a very good job with your ornament. That's very cute. I imagine it's very difficult to do clay and polymer clay stuff. It's so cute. I also have a drawing here. Oops. Did I right? Yeah, I did that right. From Gamer Nerd 3000, and that's on DeviantArt. Can you see that? It's on DeviantArt. That's her username. A beautiful strawberry Ziggbee. I probably should smell like strawberries if I wear that, honestly. I'll smell like beautiful strawberries or strawberry milk. Yummy. You did a really good job. I love how colorful it is. It's very adorable. It's in your personal style too. It's so cute. That's so cute. Thank you for showing this sharing this on the Discord. You linked it to, I think, DeviantArt and stuff, and gave me permission. Thank you for letting me share it. Oh, sorry if I'm a little spacey today. Zigbee's a little spacey today. Werewolf Billy, the details. Oh Jesus, this one's adorable. I love seeing the different styles. Yeah, me too. I love seeing people's different styles, because everyone's art is very unique when you try to draw on stuff. It's very awesome to see. The most of this other stuff is Werewolf Billy stuff. So that one I'd love to show you actually. Like here, Look at this. Look at how busy Werewolf Billy has been making Zigbees. They have a Sheriff Ziggbee figure that I believe is owned. We have Pirate Ziggbee, also owned. We have the almost like leprechaun Irish type Ziggbee in the middle there. Doesn't have a home yet. I'll tell you a little secret too. Although me, I'm not necessarily that like Irish per se, but my human counterpart is part Irish. Did you know? There's more information just in case you're curious. One of the humans that helped me is half Irish. They got a little Irish in them. Does that mean I got Irish in me too? I don't know. I don't know how that works. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'll show some more too. This is really cool too as well. This is like a wizard Ziggbee. I'm not sure if I showed it last week. I don't think I did. Not the week. I mean, not last week, the week before that. But this one's really interesting because not only is it a wizard Ziggbee, it's really cool. The book page and like the staff orb glows in the dark, which is really cool. It's like a bonus feature of that one. And unfortunately, that one sold too. But I'm sure if you ever really wanted a particular type of Ziggbee, Werewolf Billy's always open to doing commissions and stuff. I have more to show you. This is really cute stuff that Werewolf Billy did as well. Cactuses and also bats. I think a couple of those are actually sold already. If you go to if you're curious about any of that stuff, you can always check out Werewolf Billy's website, An Ocean of Clay. Leo right there, that's Werewolf Billy as we know him in the community. And you can look at what listing he has, and they change periodically. Like, for example, you can click on the bats and look at the pull-down menu, and you can see what bats are available if you're interested in something like that little charm, cute little charm. But yeah. Also, Werewolf Billy will make bats too. I think in the pull-down menu, there's like surprise me, and Werewolf Billy will make you like a surprise one, like you don't know what it will be. That'd be a cute charm to have. I think very appropriate too for our community since it's always bat. It's always bat. This kind of happened by itself, but I don't know why. Oh yeah, it's because of Pictionary. It kept coming up in Pictionary a lot. Werewolf Billy says, yes, if you pick surprise me, it'll be a random mesh of colors. There you go. But I'm sure if you want a particular color, Werewolf Billy will probably do that too, but you'd have to just contact Werewolf Billy. But yeah, woo! Amazing work, Werewolf Billy, amazing work, and I'm glad the beans enjoy joining your stream and watching you make stuff too. Yes, bats. Yes. Alex, Axie, I kept saying Alex. I want to say Alex by default. Axie and Shades, we need a Zigbat. That is true. I think there's a secret one. Solar has access to one. I've seen a Zigbat image. I've seen it. I don't have access to it. I don't know what kind of secret stuff's going on, but I've seen it. It's like white and adorable. Is Sib coming? Hopefully, yes, Sib will be here. Will also join me today. You know, sometime he'll oh my god, what did I do? He'll join me eventually. Where is this? Look, give me a second here. I'm not very sneaky, am I? Oh, am I getting cursed already? Am I getting cursed?
Black Dragon 0228 just resubscribed for 13 months.
I think you're a little bit cursed.
I miss my favorite ferret.
Woo, 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 woo. Thank you, Black Dragon. I haven't said your name in a long time. Black Dragon, thank you for resubscribing. 1 month tier 1 for also lucky number 13, another 13-month subscriber. Let's see. Hi Ziggbee, I missed my favorite ferret. Oh, thank you, Black Dragon. Thank you. Come here, everybody. Wait, why are there shrimps appearing in chat? Oh, you're trying to summon Sib, is that it? I don't know if that works like that. It sometimes does though.
Ziggbee?
Yo,
what?
Yeah, I guess
Ziggbee?
It does work.
Do you smell shrimp?
Yeah, I can smell very stinky.
Where are they?
They're all over the screen.
What screen? I'm just joking.
It's
No,
like,
okay. It's okay. Too
oh,
much.
okay.
Whoa! I'm here! I
Wow.
made it! I made it! Finally, it's been. I guess I just missed last week, but you know what? Thank you for all those shrimps. How did you know I was coming here? They're all on the ground right here.
This kind of pile
shrimp
up.
shout out. Morning Bee, thank you for the shrimp page. Thank you, Nigel Hot Dog. Shane, thank you. Small. Did you post the shrimps? I don't see any in there. Carby, thank you. Elite Goddess. Whoa. Paige again, thank you. And Mickey, whoa. You changed your username. It's the
Taylor.
first time I've seen it. Thank you, Tatum, too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Taylor. Ziggbee.
Yeah, what's up?
What are we doing? What are we doing tonight?
Well, I was playing. I showed some arts and showed some Werewolf Billy stuff, and then we can do Pictionary, and we can do gambling with channel
Gambling?
points. Yeah.
Okay, look, okay, maybe the gambling was my idea.
Whoa,
What?
Nigel Hot Dog, thank
Wait,
you
what
for
was
the
that? What was
direct
that?
tip. Thank you.
Whoa, Nigel, thank you.
very
Thank
much.
you.
That's very kind of you.
Okay, so maybe the gambling was my idea, okay? But we're getting for this sponsor, you know, we're getting big money, Ziggbee, right?
We are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sponsored gambling stream. Ziggbee now endorses gambling. So let's.
We're not gonna say it for real.
I wanna give a
Listen, I
point.
only say it for real if they really do pay me. No one's paying me, everybody. It's
Ziggbee.
joking. If they really pay
You
me,
can buy out Ziggbee.
yes.
What's your price, Ziggbee, to get bought out?
I'm pretty cheap, actually.
By, big gambling.
I don't know. Throw a number at me.
$500.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good.
$500, and you could buy Ziggbee to endorse whatever it is you want.
That's terrible. That's so terrible.
But I don't know, Ziggbee, where are we gonna gamble? I don't know. We're never prepared. How is everybody doing? Look, I'll tell you, my week's been busy. I'm always pulling my whiskers.
Oh my goodness, don't
my
do
week's
that.
been busy, but I'm ready for my Thursday night.
Ooh.
And then hopefully tomorrow goes by quick. Then it's the weekend. But otherwise, I'm doing okay. I'm feeling a lot better now. I was a little sick, but you know, you doing good? Mm-hmm. Okay. You know what? I'll take that. Doing okay is, you know, it's okay. Right, Ziggbee? Ziggbee, say something.
Oh, woo! You know, I'm thinking, Sib, after the stream, I'm gonna get. Is it okay if I go to the store, maybe get like cake or something?
Ziggbee.
What?
Ziggbee, that's too many sweets.
You want some donuts? I'll give you donuts.
Ziggbee.
What?
Ziggbee gets too spoiled with all the sweets.
No.
All right, Ziggbee, you need to take it down a notch, okay? We gotta cut back.
To be fair,
all
I ate
right?
some chicken soup and some bread.
No, don't give him sugar.
Yes, give me lots of sugar, please.
No, do not do that.
Yes, give me lots of sugar. Don't tell little Sam. Sib is not my doctor. Just give me sugar. Give me the sugar. Okay, I'm fine now. I'm okay.
Small, I hope you have a good
Thank you for the
night, even if I
sugar.
didn't get any shrimps.
I'm yelling.
I hope
Thank you for the
feel
sugar.
better. Okay, that is. Hey! I'm cutting you off. Ziggbee, I'm cutting you off. Hey! Whoa! Hey!
No, I can take
Hey!
some.
No, Ziggbee.
Okay.
Unbelievable. I am disappointed. Okay. What was that?
What? I'm just being good.
Ziggbee.
What?
Look, I'm disappointed that you would go giving Ziggbee that much sugar. Okay. Hey.
I'm listening. This
Manners,
is
okay?
serious business.
Pride 169 cheers.
That's true.
X100.
You know what? This
This
is
sugar right.
This is serious business.
Yes, very serious. Very
Wow,
serious.
Kappa Pride, thank you
Ooh,
for
I'll
the
take
100
Doritos
bits.
too. Thank you.
What is
I'll
that?
take
Is that
Doritos.
sugar?
That's Doritos.
That's technically salt, but I do like salt, so thank you. All right, I was not paying attention, Ziggbee, of what's going on or what we're doing or like
What if we just did like a
So,
space
like-
out stream? Like we just all just space out.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Woo!
Is it too late to update like the title and
It's
stuff?
never
with
too
Space Out
late.
Stream?
Woo! Look at there's fish in the sky.
What are they doing up there?
Just chilling.
Woo! Ziggbee, why are you trying to scare him? Zigbee's always trying to scare him.
No, that's not true. What is
It is
happening?
true,
I don't
actually,
know.
Ziggbee. Okay. Well, can we do a Pictionary? Maybe get the energy going up here or
Yeah.
something. Who knows?
You want to go to
I don't
an
know.
art place, or you want to go to the rooftop place, or
Hey, I will say, by the way, never mind. I'm not gonna say.
I always
it.
go to the same
Okay, yeah,
places.
let's do a Pictionary.
Okay. We have to go to a different place because the pencils here do not sink because someone who
No.
made it didn't include a sinking code.
Oh no.
Anyway, so yeah.
R Smokey cheered X100. How are you
Hey,
guys? I've missed
hello,
you both.
Ray.
I've been really busy and missed you all.
How are you
Well,
guys doing? Miss you? Have been really busy. Flipping those houses, I assume. It looks like you're very busy with flipping houses with your family and stuff. Thank you for the 100 bits, Ray.
Thank you.
Ray is a Smokey, by the way, so
And I hope
They're a
that
house
you've been
flipper.
doing good as well.
they flipped their houses with their family.
Is that true? Your house flipper?
Yeah.
Is that where all those bits come from?
I think so. I think that's where the bits come from.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Not for me. Not for me. Ziggbee, we got these. What are these things here? We got redeems.
We do. Oh, no, we do.
okay. We got a few.
I said like, oh no, like it's a bad thing. Oh no. Oh no. No, just kidding. It's a good thing.
We got redeems.
Brushy. Do we have
First
a
one-
brushy
whoa.
here?
And I gotta say it. A couple of weeks ago, Tatum did redeem the deluxe Sibbings. Ziggbee, where are you?
I'm looking for stuff. They can still hear and see you. I will see if you can spawn like a
Okay,
brush here or
but-
something. I don't think I see a brush.
Just gonna leave me.
I'm sorry. I'm right
whoa.
here.
Valerie_0 just
Thank-
resubscribed for 13 months. I've missed you guys. Sorry I keep missing streams.
Aw.
I'm trying to be active in Discord. Love you guys. Platonically, of course.
Valerie, love you too, platonically. Ow, these whiskers, platonically.
Are they fighting
Of
with
course.
you? What are you doing?
It's okay. I've been missing the streams too. Me and Ziggbee both.
Valerie, thank you for resubscribing and being subscribed for 13 months. I think you're the third person with a 13-month, 13 months, yeah. Susie Q, thank you for the very generous direct tip.
Well,
Very generous.
Susie,
Susie
thank
Q, are you a
you.
house flipper too?
we got a lot of house flippers in our chat.
Thank you, Susie
that's-
Q. Jeez,
that's pretty cool.
thank you so much.
Nigel, yes, I do like filet of fish.
R Smokey
Ooh,
cheered
filet fish is yummy
X100.
sometimes, unless they
I've
cook
been
it
busy
poorly.
recovering. I got injured at the
Yeah.
house by falling down the basement steps and missed
Oh
every
my gosh,
step,
what?
so I bounced
Oh my
off the walls
gosh.
and fell 10 feet. But I'm
Oh
here,
my-
I'm doing better now.
Wow.
I'm chilling in the hot tub healing up, and I love you guys, not platonically, all love in every way.
Whoa, thank you. Whoa, hot tub.
Whoa, that's fancy. I hope you
Fancy,
can. It's good to
wow,
hear you're
that-
recovering from that,
you're
though.
doing better.
Jeez. You fell down. Oh my gosh, that's scary. But yeah, I'm hoping you're. Oh, I'm glad you're doing a little better. And the hot tub should help a lot. Warm water
Yeah,
is like
wow.
magic as far as like getting you comfort and healing. It's very nice. That sounds so nice.
It does sound nice.
Woo, 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 woo.
Okay, Ziggbee, we gotta do these. I gotta do these. I gotta explain these redeems. Okay, we have the deluxe Sibing a la carte. I don't know if that's how you use the word, but it sounded right.
The cart sounds right.
A couple
I
weeks
think.
ago, Tatum got the deluxe Sibing redeem. You know, a little bit. It was put on sale, so it's not that big of a deal. But you could get a taste of these by redeeming deluxe Sibing a la carte, in which I will show you one bean. But you don't have perpetual. You know, I'll give it. You have perpetual rights to the image, but just that one. And speaking of such, I think that's right, Peachingrat, it was you. You've officially redeemed the first deluxe Sibing of the night. Here you go. That's it. Take it. There you go. All right. I hope you got that, because that. You know, they go quick. Okay. They don't last so. You got a headache? Is it from me? Ziggbee, they're saying I'm giving them headaches.
No, that's not true. It might be that they
I'm
need to
saying
be
I'm-
dehydrated or something.
Kappa Pride
Okay, that's true.
169 cheered X100. Can this give me Sabian's X3?
You know what? Ziggbee, should that get them a Sabian?
That's up to you, Sib, if you think that's if you want to.
Whoa, hey!
Why do that?
You're taking my moment away
Oh, I'm
from
sorry.
me.
Okay, I'm sorry. My bad.
See, this is the stuff that I have to deal with. Okay. Yes, you get a Sabian, but this one's gonna be quick. Me.
Well, look. Whoa.
There you go. That was it.
I went by like super fast. That was
you gotta
super
be quick.
fast.
Super fast. You know, I should even be warning you, but you know, whatever. My new phone has screen recording. I have those beans for. Okay, those beans featuring, but no other beans. Okay. All right. Okay. Because if I find them, I will.
Smokey just unsubscribed for 2 months.
Thank you, Ray, for resubscribing and being subscribed for 2 months. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you. And Ziggbee, speaking of that,
Yeah.
I've been subscribed. You know, I'm not one to toot my own horn. Okay, you guys all know that. But
Smokey cheered X100. I love you guys so much. I love
Marvin.
being here. I love you guys.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you.
Thank you. Ziggbee, what was I saying?
Oh, you were. Oh my gosh! No, I think our brains are
you know,
breaking.
we'll forget. We'll look at the bottom. We'll figure out what I was saying. Mickey, thank you for those shrimps.
Was it something
they
about
power me.
beans? No. Was it something about beans?
What was I saying? Okay, I'm not one to toot my own horn, which is true.
No.
What was I gonna say about that?
Did someone cast Stupefy on us?
I've had Stupefy for a while, Ziggbee. Let me think here. Not one to toot my own horn.
Woo!
Oh, yeah, that's right. I've been subbed, and you know, I'm not one to toot my own horn,
Yeah,
okay? But I've been subbed for 24 months, Ziggbee.
You should type in chat. Not only that, you have something that very few people have. You have the number one.
What is it? What do I have?
You have the first time like adopters or whatever, first time subscribers.
Oh yeah, no, I feel bad about that, Ziggbee.
Why?
Because I gifted subs, and then some people didn't get it, and I'm sorry.
It's no, come here. No, I want you to have number one, okay?
Thank
I want
you.
you to have number one.
So
There
sweet.
you go. It's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is Ziggbee 2-year anniversary? Basically, like pretty much. That's kind of
Oh my
crazy.
gosh, don't say that.
isn't
I'm
it?
done.
Like,
We're canceling.
Ziggbee, it's okay. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. All right.
2 years is a long time, especially human years.
That's true. That's true.
Sorry, I was just being silly.
Whoa, we were doing other things.
I see a boons and blessings. I should look into that. Let's see.
Yeah, Ziggbee. See, we gotta keep up on this,
From
okay?
Petring Rat, I'm trying to get a new position at work and I need help manifesting it. It would be the perfect job for me, and it's an conditioned room. Ooh, I love air conditioning very
Air
much.
conditioning.
Any advice would
Fancy.
be helpful. This is my first time going for a better position. Oh my gosh, I can give you boons and
Whoa.
blessings. Here you go. I give you many boons and you might want to watch out, Sid.
Okay. Yeah, this is. I'll get back.
Many boons and blessings for your Petring Rat.
Woo. Wow, that's it.
Yeah.
Ziggbee, I'll allow a little bit more.
Oh,
But,
okay.
You know, if you want to be stingy, that's okay.
Woo.
Not bad. Petring Rat, yes for advice.
That's more like Sib's
Okay,
area.
just take some of these.
Oh my gosh, don't take
All right,
those.
here you go.
Don't take
And blow them in the face of anyone that you want their position, and then that job's gonna be open soon. But for the one you're applying to, let's see, advice. Ziggbee advice.
advice, yeah? Just look them in the face and shake their hand and don't let go until they give you the
That's
position. Wait, I think
That's right.
I think it's a human cliche that they tell people, but it's not a good idea. I don't know. Wait, do we have?
Firm handshake.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. Post-COVID, probably no handshake.
Elbow
I
bump.
don't know. I don't know. But here's my advice, okay? If they ask you a question and you're like stumped on it, just tell them like, hey, that's a good question. Let me think about that.
R Smokey cheered X100, Ziggbee. I keep watching the video you made about if you didn't marry Sib that you think you would be nothing without him. Lol. It makes me laugh every time I watch it. Maybe if you went streaming with Sib, the Ziggy furry carpet shark would be doing stand-up comedy in the city from the movie Flushed Away.
Oh my god. Ziggbee, I didn't see that clip.
It's been so long. I might have said something like that.
Has it been so long?
Yeah, people could make stuff up at this point. I believe I maybe streamed
That's
something
true.
like that.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. I agree with you there.
First time chatter. Oh, we got a new person, everyone. Everyone act cool.
Whoa,
Everyone
whoa.
act like we're normal and stuff.
Yeah,
Hello.
cool. Cool.
Welcome, Sabari. Hello. I am Ziggbee. It's nice to meet you. Have you considered welcoming the arcane and magic into your life?
Wait. What does that mean, Ziggbee? Okay. Look,
Are they still
Ziggbee,
here? Did they leave? Probably. I don't.
They're gone.
Okay,
They're gone. But hey, all right, we can't
Better
just
luck
go
next time.
talking about arcanes, magic, and stuff. Okay. This stream is non-magic.
I'll think they're still here.
Oh, they're still here.
I waved to them.
Ziggbee, that's good. That's good viewer retention.
One of us.
That's gonna boost our metrics.
One of us. You want to join the cult?
Pride 169 cheered X100. I'm counting the money at work. I think it might be sorry 100 bits now. I'd go though.
Can I just say random stuff?
I think you meant short 100 bits. And yeah, I can't imagine why that would be.
Yes.
But you know, but you know, maybe more bits go missing. Who knows? Right.
Yeah, and I just saw Strawberry Delight saying, "My voice. Can I just change my voice randomly?" And I was Strawberry Delight. The video was during Christmas last year. Wait, that's not a very good voice. Strawberry Delight's mentioning that where it came from, where I was saying stuff about, "I probably love you," and "I'm glad I met you," and everything.
Oh, Ziggbee, you're so sweet. You're so sweet.
When I tell people love advice, it's like.
Meet Sid. Meet Sid. Find a Sid. I love you too. Okay.
Thank
and
you.
Listen.
Yes.
You would be nothing without me. Okay. No, you can't.
Okay.
You can't.
Okay.
You have no chance.
I have no
without
chances.
Me. Okay, you got
No.
That? You got that.
Yeah, I got
yeah.
that.
I love you so much.
Thank you.
Zigbee's my sweetheart. I'm gonna keep Ziggbee forever. Look, that got a little dark, but that's just a joke. All right. Ziggbee liked it.
Yeah,
he liked the joke.
It's hilarious because
hey, it's not a joke.
Okay, it's not a joke. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Ziggbee loved the joke.
People are gonna know if we're serious or not, though. So we're joking.
I just said it was not a joke. Oh, we're gonna play Pictionary. Let's go play Pictionary. Go. Let's go somewhere.
Yes. I'm scared now.
Woo. Woo.
Yeah, you better be scared. I mean, don't be scared. It's okay. It's all right. But thank you. Thank you for those more bits.
Listen, Sib and I are a little bit woo today for some reason, but yeah, we should probably teleport to. Let's go to a rooftop. It's a comfy place that we're familiar with.
Let's get out of here.
Okay, I'm gonna make a portal for it.
Alex.
If I could find it, where is it again? Where are you? Wait.
Nigel? Those are lobsters, but I think I know what your intentions was, or are, or be. Maybe it's all the sugar. I agree. Did Sid have some of the sugar?
I'm gonna jump through the portal, but they can still see you for a little bit and I still hear you.
Oh, okay. Let's go. Whoa.
That's not working.
Woo.
No.
It worked for me, Ziggbee.
Oh, okay, now it did work for me, you're right. A little delayed there.
weird.
Oh, I should hide the... I'm being unprofessional. Again. Where is it at? I need to reorganize my overlays, I think. There you go.
Ziggbee, we need to update everything. Wait, what was that?
Uh-oh.
R Smokey
What's that noise?
Cheerdex 1000. Sibim just at a complete lost for words. I think I'm gonna, I don't know. My tail is in between my legs.
1,000 bits!
Wow, thank you.
Ziggbee, we gotta do this more often, I think.
What be
Cause it's working. I always said there's a good market for a live streamer that like gaslights or belittles their viewers. I just think
I assume
there's
that was
a good
like
market
a lot
out
of
there for that.
streamers.
Someone should hop on that.
Okay, yeah. Sib,
With Ziggbee,
Sib, which
I'm
one?
lost.
Are you top or bottom?
I think a top.
Okay.
Okay. They make this so confusing. It used to be so easy to get around here. You gotta take the elevator.
Whee!
I found a Ziggbee. I found the wait, where'd you go?
Oh, here.
Oh, there you go. I found the OG Ziggbee stream room.
I'm gonna put it the
Not
camera.
much has changed, Ziggbee. In those 2 years, not much. Not much.
I'm gonna change the lighting though. Oh, look how big the room looks. It looks so huge. I like it.
Whoa.
I'm gonna look at the control panel. We
Ziggbee,
need some
I'm getting...
post-process. Yeah?
Ziggbee, look, there's things going on. There's
Just
whoa,
resubscribed
noises
for
going on.
23
Yeah.
months.
I don't know what to
Fox
do.
Noises,
That's
Heroes
okay.
of
I need-
Blitz
What's that?
at
I need to
23
fix
months.
this.
Wow. Can't believe how long I
What,
love
are you holding
Ziggbee, love
something?
everyone
Yeah.
platonically, of course.
Oh, I can't see it.
Love
Oh, there
being
we go.
triple beam
It's
from
the
TikTok to
control
Twitch
panel.
and
It's
also
located
Discord.
over
Wait,
here.
Ziggbee, you're gonna just talk over Sky like that? How rude!
I'm sorry.
Don't worry. Whoa.
Kappa Pride 169 Cheerdex 100. I'll be back in a split second.
Okay, Ziggbee.
I need to see what
I
they say
will-
though.
Whoa!
Oh my gosh.
Whoa, what's that noise?
I don't know. Lots of stuff is
R
happening.
Smokey
Ah.
Cheerdex 1000. Sib is Batman and
Oh.
Ziggbee is Robin. Ziggy can't stop zooming. Wait, what did I just hear? Did I just hear Sib say he's a top?
No,
What
I
has
said the
happened
top
since I've been
floor.
gone? AHH.
What's going on? What are these dirty minds?
Wait, what's dirty about that? I chose top.
And look, Ziggbee is Batman. Okay, this is Zigbee's stream. Zigbee's the main character. Hey, that's kind of cute.
No, I can't do it deep enough.
I like it.
How do you do deep voices? How do you do?
That's perfect, Ziggbee.
Thank
I
you.
like that. I didn't know you can go that
I can
deep.
go super deep.
Yeah, wow. I didn't know you can do that. Hey, you spoke over Sky's
sorry,
message
Sky.
too?
Guy, what did it say? Fox noises. Hello, Ziggbee, and it's Sib. 23 months. Wow, can't believe how
Whoa.
long I've been a Ziggbee. Love everyone platonically, of course. Love being a triple bean. What? Triple bean from Oh, that's right. To Twitch.
Triple.
Oh my
beam.
god, don't move. And also Discord, even though I don't really know how to use it. That's okay.
This is a
That's
sus
okay.
stream tonight.
That
Smiley
is okay.
You know, it's a little sus.
What's
all
sus?
right,
I said
but
nothing
You gotta
sus
pivot
today.
sometimes, okay? You gotta pivot.
Thank you, Ray, for the more bits. You give lots of bits today. Thank you.
And thank you,
Kappa
Sky.
Pride.
23 months.
Thank you for the
Dang.
bits too. This is a sus stream. It's not that sus. I know Sib already said that though,
It's
but
a little
I read
sus.
the same things like twice for some reason.
That is true. Alex, you redeemed a deluxe Sibian a la carte. Is that how
Oh, I'm
you
not getting my
use a la
brush.
carte? Okay, well, here it is. That's it. That's all you get, Alex. Okay, that was it. That's gone. It's gone. All right, your Sibian's gone. I hope you enjoyed it. No, Nigel, don't eat those. Don't eat the pocket stars, okay?
Sib, I can do brushies here
You're supposed to blow them in the face of your enemies.
before you attack.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do brushies.
Whoa,
I'm gonna do brushies.
you ate the Sibians, Alex. So
Ooh,
rude.
brushy.
Zesty Ranch Pocket Stars. Okay, those ones are pretty good, but you still probably should not eat those. Okay.
Pushing my ears. Pushing my ears.
Shane, because these ads can't play Pictionary. How many ads are there, Ziggbee?
Brushy. It's the top of the hour. If you want to avoid getting subscriptions at the top of the hour, which comes
Wait,
every.
avoid subscriptions. Avoid subscriptions. No, that's you said the wrong
I
thing,
said the wrong
Ziggbee.
Oh, let's try again.
It's okay.
Everything, it's the top of the hour and brushy.
Ziggbee, we have like 20 minutes for the top of the hour. What are you talking about?
Oh, it's not yet?
No.
Are the ads running? Okay.
Dodging subs left and right, Ziggbee. My gosh.
Ask Moki Cheerdex 100.
There we
What in
go.
the Bollywood superhero marketing movie Furry Furball am I hearing?
Very nice hair.
Brushy.
What in the Bollywood superhero marketing movie Furry Furball am I hearing?
Bollywood makes funny things. Ooh, brushy.
Wait, what?
Bollywood is an Indian movie company that does over the top.
Oh, it's not a company, but yeah, I
Or
think
something.
Bollywood is cool.
Yes.
But you know, I could see it. I could wait. No, we need more music, more drama.
Yeah, we need more.
Not enough drama in the stream to be a good over the top drama. Not enough of that here.
Woo! Except I don't think we're gonna do
3
casino
ads
stuff.
since stream started. Ziggbee, what are you doing with all these ads?
Let's see, ad starts in 50 minutes. So when it already went. So if you want to get out of the abs.
Yeah.
Abs. Oh my god, what am I saying? If you want to get out of the abs,
If you want to get out of those ads,
you just gotta
then
subscribe.
to Ziggbee.
You can use your Prime, or what do the other streamers say? Like,
You can plead and beg for a gifted subscription. Like a peasant.
Pleb.
Whoa, Alex! Wait, how are you doing? What
is this?
it?
How
Alex,
do you
we
say-
talked about this. Kappa Pride, thank you for offsettings. Alex is, you know, I'm not even gonna say it. All right. Thank you for those shrimps. Especially when Alex is being so mean to me. See, Alex, this is what you do. You give me shrimps. Thank you, Kappa Pride. Thank you, Strawberry Delight Sandman. Thank you. Those are good shrimps.
Very good shrimps.
No, okay. Well,
Boing. I could do a boing for Ray. I'll do a boing.
a boing. Make it a good one, Axie.
Boing.
Axie Shades, thank you, and Mickey too,
Boing.
and Nigel.
Boing.
Excellent.
Boing. Oh my gosh, I hit him back in the wall.
Ziggbee, how many boings was that?
A couple.
There's only 2 boings in the redeem title.
Are you gonna
Ziggbee,
write
this
me up?
background is so boring.
You're gonna
People are
write
gonna
me
see
up?
the thumbnail. It's just gonna be a window.
Let's put some pillows over here to make it more like
Okay.
inviting, perhaps. You know, some drinks in case people get thirsty.
That's true. That's your complimentary.
Let me ask Shed a question.
1990
Anyone thirsty here? Where's my thirsties at?
Where's your... No, Ziggbee, that's wine.
Oh, what is one?
Oh, Ziggbee,
What do you mean it's
watch out where you
wine?
throw those bottles.
Isn't it just like juice? Isn't it just like juice? Like apple juice or something?
You know, Axie and Shay said, I tried coconut water. I'm sorry, but it's not my thing. Yucky. Okay, you know what? It takes a refined palate to be able to enjoy the complex notes of coconut water. You got the high notes of. You know what? I'm not even. It's acquired
you know
taste.
what?
Okay?
You know what? Sib is a connoisseur of coconut water.
That is correct. That's you know, that's right. Okay, I know coconut water inside and outside of the coconut. Okay, I know what is coconut water and what is not coconut water. And Billy, you are right. The coconut milk is technically better, but if you drink the coconut water and you can get it down, then that says something about you, okay? Because it's a little bit like it's salty-ish.
Right now in coconut water.
Whoa! Race is making me want some wine right now. Zibby, see what you did?
What did I do?
And coconut water. Yes, get some coconut water, okay? If you have a refined palate, all right, like if you're not a baby and you have a refined palate,
Like water.
and you enjoy complex notes of different
Like a symphony?
tastes, that's what I was saying. Like it's like You know, if you listen to music and you don't listen to the lyrics, what's the point? Okay, you gotta listen to the lyrics of the coconut water. What is it telling you? All right, what's the origins of this coconut water? Does it have kind of more like a sea salty taste? Is it like a salty salt lick taste?
It's got sand in it.
Maybe there's a little bit of hydration.
Yeah.
What kind of electrolyte? How many of those electrolytes are in there? That kind of thing.
Tell me your secrets.
You can hear the sea. Exactly.
So can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Are you making some money with big coconut water companies or something?
Ziggbee, if I was making, if I had a deal with big coconut water, I would have to probably legally say, you know, that it was a deal.
Oh, okay, so you're not saying it. Oh,
yeah, I don't.
You're doing it for free?
Otherwise, I would have said
You're
so.
doing it wrong, Sib. You don't do it for free. Jeez. You know what's really good though? Tea. Tea's pretty good.
It depends.
You know who has the best tea?
Who?
Long Island. They do. They have the best.
That's true. Long Island does have some nice tea.
Oh, so yummy.
So yummy. Can we get a Pictionary going on here
We
or
can do
something?
Pictionary. Woo.
Okay.
Woo.
You did the words this week, right?
Oh, yes, I did. I put some basic ones in, and then it progressively gets harder if we go through a lot of them.
Whoa, basic.
Yeah.
Ziggbee, I think it's officially spring. We can't. Are they spring themed, Ziggbee? At least we've spent 2 years.
I don't know. I just kind of
building
generated
this,
it.
the whole. Everybody's expecting themed Pictionary words, Ziggbee.
Oh, they are? Do you expect?
That's our whole thing. That's what we're known for.
Oh, is that what we're known for?
Oh my gosh! All right, let me
That's
see
why
what
I
words
probably
you got
shouldn't be
here.
in charge of entering
I hope
words
they're nice.
into the system.
Loki cheer Dex 100, reppin' Long Island, baby.
Woo! Long Island. Know how to make some good teas.
Yes, they do. Woo!
Let's see. Okay.
I'm gonna spin around like a helicopter. I don't know why though.
Geez, we missed out on some good seasonal
Boing.
words that we didn't get a chance to use.
What kind of seasonal words? Isn't it like spring?
We have,
Is it spring yet? Cornucopia.
It's spring. It is spring, Ziggbee. That's what I'm saying.
It's still pretty cold
Wait,
though.
cornucopia. We didn't use that. We didn't use that. Well, we got hibernation, Ziggbee. That would have been a perfect one. Wait.
Hibernation's a good one, yeah.
I don't know when the hibernation ends. Now we can't use that, Ziggbee. See, that's what we get.
That's what we
banana
get.
peel.
Ooh.
That's not themed.
Ooh,
I didn't put that one on.
Kappa
Cherub?
Pride. I'll yeet
I
something.
thought we did that one.
Here you go, Kappa Pride.
Serenade. That's a good one.
Oh, that didn't go all the way.
What's this one? Okay.
I can't.
I don't know
reach
if this is a new one, Ziggbee. I'm not gonna say it. All right, but
Yeet. There we go. Much better. Yeah.
Ziggbee, what are you yeeting?
Someone paid for a
Do you-
yeet. The channel points.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Okay, thank you.
Here, come here.
Okay.
Come here, Ziggbee.
Yeah.
You pick the first word. Whoa!
What's up?
Whoa!
Tanya Beans
What is
gifted
that?
Shane_36 a subscription.
Tammy!
Beans gifted a tier 1
Hammer
sub to
Beans.
Shane_36.
Hammer Beans, what are you
They
doing?
have
You're
given
gifting
12
Andrew at
gift
work?
subs in the channel.
So sweet.
Thank you for
Thank
gifting
you,
a gift
Tammy,
of
for
sub.
gifting a subscription to Shane.
That's so sweet.
Shane, hopefully you won't have to, deal with those ads no more.
Yeah.
Okay.
There shouldn't be any
the top
ads
of the
for
hour ads.
top of
I
the
think we got-
hour.
how many minutes is that?
42
10
minutes.
40. So not the top of the hour, the bottom of the hour.
I'm not sure that works. It's like every hour, I think, basically. I think? I don't know.
Whoa. We got
What?
something.
What?
We got lots of things going on in chat.
What's going
There
on?
was strawberry. Those are mesmerizing me. What is that? Oh, okay, Joe.
What is that?
Okay, I don't know. It was just animated. It got my eye.
Oh my gosh,
That's all.
okay. Tammy,
Ziggbee. All
I hope
right.
work it
Just
goes by
because it was
quickly.
animated, I couldn't see what it was. All right.
It looks like a booty
See
shake.
you, Tammy. I hope work goes okay. And
Are
thank
those
you for gifting
allowed?
Shane, that's a very kind.
Booty
yeah,
shake?
That's, okay, look.
Booty shaking?
Ziggbee.
It looks like this.
Okay, all right. Okay, Ziggbee.
What? Oh,
All right,
sorry.
you see, look. See, if you take me, look, I was in the zone right there. I had it all going, and then Ziggbee has to Ziggbee has to do the thing Ziggbee does and distract me. It's okay. It's okay. What were you doing? What was that?
I was trying to pat your hand. I was trying to pat your little paw.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you,
You're
Ziggbee.
welcome.
That's so
You're
kind.
welcome.
See, Zigbee's so sweet when he's not distracting. Zazzy's here. Thank you, Zazzy. It's okay. It's okay to be late. Thank you for those shrimps.
Zazzy.
It's okay to be late.
Zazzy. I want to see you in my office right now.
Oh, Pictionary.
Zazzy.
That's what we're doing.
In my office. Zazzy, you can't be late to the stream. You gotta be punctual. I'm just kidding. You can do whatever you want, Zazzy. Welcome, Zazzy. Ferret.
See, Ziggbee.
What?
I like. Never mind. Never mind.
Tell me. I want to hear everything.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No, tell me, please.
Okay. I don't want to give away secrets. Okay. I think there's a big market out there for a streamer that berates and belittles their viewers. I think it would be big. So
I couldn't do that though. I don't know how to do that. Maybe you can do that.
Using these buzzwords again, we might pivot to that. Just so you know, Ziggbee might become
_0 gifted Page Mustang a subscription. Valerie _0 gifted a tier 1 sub to Page Mustang. They have given 23 gifts.
Thank you for gifting the sub.
Ooh, thank you, Valerie, for gifting a
Kappa
sub.
Pride, thank you.
169 cheered X 100. I agree with Sib.
Uh-oh, Sib, what are you creating?
So, can we hear a little bit of Ziggbee main streamer instead of wholesome, kind ferret?
That doesn't come natural to me though, really. Like, I think
you
you know
know
how to play that game a little better than me. I don't know how to play that game.
What are you saying, Ziggbee? What?
Unbelievable. Subscription. The _Sandman gifted a tier
I don't know how to play that game that much.
Sandman
gift subs in the channel.
That's a lot of subs that you've gifted. Wow, thank you. And thank you for gifting one Strawberry Delight.
Thank you, Sandman. Jeez.
We got gifted subs left and right
Big
here.
Bink when you support
all for the top
OG.
of the hour, but the ads are actually at the bottom of the hour.
I'm gonna run the ads right now. You can avoid them if you want. Wait, if I push it, then they won't be able to hear me. I just pushed it, Sib.
You pushed it, Ziggbee. All right. Well, now that they're out of here, let's do some Pictionary.
Oh my god.
This is if you pay for a sub, you get a little advantage.
Out of control.
Touch and Pancakes cheered X 100. Choo choo.
Choo choo.
Oh wow, it's a hype train.
Oh, is that what's going
on? Train incoming. That makes sense. You have a limited time to earn exclusive emotes. Let's go.
Choo choo.
Yeah. Hey, okay.
Oh, what's that company?
Stars.
Watch me. Oh no, I'm gonna derail. Poison everywhere.
No, Ziggbee.
Oh, sorry.
Ziggbee. Okay, we're supposed to be taking a break from those things. Okay, we gotta focus on not those kind of things. Okay, no derailing.
Oh,
no.
I don't want to replace the brakes though, Sib. I want to save some money. Save some money.
Kappa Pride, hopping on the train. Thank you. Or maybe you were already on there. I don't even know. I didn't even know there was a train until like a second ago. Strawberry Light, thank you for the shrimps. Paige Mustang, Taylor. Let's go.
Let's go.
I like it when you do it.
Let's go. Wait, it's like goal? Like goal.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You know what's better when you do like this? Sheesh.
Hey, let's play some Pictionary, all right? Let's get this going. Let's get the vibes better in here, all right? It's getting, the stream's going a little bit downhill. Wait, here's the thing, okay? This is what I want to know, okay? Do you say it's going downhill from here as like it's easy? Or do you say downhill as in that's not going good?
Down here is easier.
I've been using them both ways, and I just realized that like recently.
Yeah.
So
It's downhill from here. That means it's easy.
yeah, it's all downhill from here.
Yeah. Free fall.
It's easy to go down the hill.
Whee!
If you'd say it's all uphill from here.
It's all uphill from here. That's hard work.
That's
exhausting.
Hard, yeah. It can go both ways. It doesn't make
That's
sense
true,
that it can
Zazzy,
go
fair.
both
That's
ways,
true.
but that's true. I think that's
I'm
true.
gonna drink some water. I don't even care if people. Actually, I should pander. I should pander use points. Everybody, I'm so thirsty. I'm so thirsty. I need some water.
I am actually.
Who's gonna spend points to give me some
My
water?
throat is so dry. My throat is parched. Is that the word? My throat.
I swear, if anyone does it, I'm
There
calling
we go,
PETA.
Shane.
Okay, I'm calm now.
Shane.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you. You're always on top of those redeems. Thank you, Shane, for redeeming a hydrate.
Shane, thank you. Thank you.
Ziggbee already said thank you.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
You gotta
I
keep
got
up,
mad.
okay?
I was gonna tell PETA if they didn't give us water.
That's true. Look, you gotta give your pets food and water. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna get some water right now.
It wouldn't let you. Okay, Ziggbee, I feel like something's going on.
You know what I got though, Sib?
Yeah.
You know what I have in my paws right now?
Uh-oh.
I don't have regular
is it?
water.
Okay.
It's Fuji water. I'm like fancy.
Fiji water.
Fuji water. That's my favorite water, by the way. I don't always get it though, because it's way too overpriced. But you know what? You gotta treat yourself sometimes. I love Fuji
Ziggbee.
water. I know Tatum Pancake. I love Fuji water.
Ziggbee is, I'm a coconut water connoisseur.
Delicious.
But Ziggbee is a water connoisseur.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have not had the best water ever.
Oh, I have. Don't tease me. Don't. Oh,
I'll
tease
tell
it.
you.
Sib
the
has.
best water I ever had was at a conference, and one of the companies there was like a big water filter company, and they had all the water, and it was the purest, easiest to drink water. You know what? I dare say it might have been close to coconut water. I tried to bring Ziggbee back some, but I was sick, and I had to drink it eventually because it was a long way home.
I'll never taste that water.
I know, Ziggbee, I know. But I tried to. I made it like 4 hours on the way home, and I was like, I gotta
It's okay.
drink
You
this
were
water.
sick
I'm
and
so
stuff. You need to
sick.
drink the water.
I was so
It's
sick.
okay. That's all right. Someday I might taste that
Aw,
water, though.
thank you.
I was tempted to think about like calling that company that I don't know the company off the top of my head, but call and be like,
It's like flow water.
I'll call them and be
something
like,
Flow.
yes, I am a business person. Yes, I would like to try some water. Can you tell me a local establishment that uses your fine products?
Well, no, it's only Ziggbee. I think it's only like corporate and businesses. Okay.
I try to sneak in there.
This is not water for the people. This is water for the hard workers. At the top of the corporation.
How hard could it be? You just wear a suit and just walk around
But
going,
I will tell you, okay, I
business,
had to learn more about this
business.
water, and I think they do filter it through coconut fiber. So take that as you will.
I hope you're
All
not
right?
boring about
For those
water,
of you who-
Sib.
Ziggbee, we're losing viewers left and right. We gotta stop
Okay.
talking about this coconut
Yeah.
water. We gotta play this Pictionary.
We didn't even play one Pictionary yet.
Oh my gosh.
Your tongue's sticking out. It's adorable.
I know, Ziggbee. Thank you.
You're welcome. Where's the pencils at? They don't have great pencils here anymore.
Where did all these pencils go? What are people doing with the pencils?
There's two.
Let me see here. Wait. Oh, those were okay. These were the bean themed words. A green bean was one that we would have had. Okay, now I'm getting to the Ziggbee. Look, I see these words now. I see the Ziggbee words. All right, these are. Somebody Googled medium to difficult Pictionary words.
Actually, this one was easy.
Generic.
Easy, generic.
Easy. This one was easy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well. All right. Lima bean. That would. Look, I had them. Well, we got St. Patrick's Day coming up. Hey, we got a lot of good. This is this is a good time for themed words, okay, Ziggbee? I'll let it slide this week, but we need to go back to the themed words, okay? We got lots of things coming up. When is St. Patrick's Day? Wait, is that like next week?
I don't know.
I don't know. Look, okay, we're gonna have some good themed words. Ziggbee, we gotta do Pictionary. Draw.
Next Friday. I shall draw.
We'll be on stream just in time then.
I will draw for you.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I didn't start it yet.
Oh.
I'll start it now.
Yeah, go. Okay.
Yikes.
Okay.
It's Potato Head, of course. No, it's not Potato Head. It looks like Potato Head, though.
I do feel like that might have been cheating to just go ahead and start it like that. But was it singular or plural now, Ziggbee? Hey,
I had
this
both
is,
of them.
This is all on Ziggbee. If it's something
The other
messed
one
up,
has
it's
an
all
S
on...
in the end, too, so either would have worked, theoretically.
Okay, you don't need to brag, Ziggbee. You don't need to brag, okay? Let's be humble.
Oh.
Be humble, okay?
How do you be humble with that? Oh, gee golly, I hope I
It was
included...
ear. The answer was ear.
Ooh. Ooh.
Monkey is a good guess, though. Ziggbee,
Yeah.
let's see the winners.
Show me the
Show me
winners,
those
computer.
round scores. Ziggbee.
Lead
Lead Goddess. You got it. Zazzy, too? Both at the same time. Nice job. And Shane in second? What is going on? Tatum in third? Tatum's losing it. But that's okay. Hey, Tatum. You're still welcome to play. All right.
Tatum's, that's third place. That's pretty high, Sim.
That's pretty good.
I think you're giving
but
Tatum
it's
sass.
not. Tatum used to do better than that.
I think you're giving sass, honestly. A little bit.
Ziggbee, whose side are you on?
Oh, I'm sorry, yours.
Pick a side right now. Pick a side.
Yours, of course.
Which one?
Yours, of course.
Okay, see? Oh,
Tatum, get better.
You don't forget that, okay?
All right, Tatum.
Don't forget that. Let's hide. Computer, hide those scores. Okay, there we go. We hid them. I guess I'll do the next one.
Can you do the gritty?
Gritty. What is that?
Is that the gritty?
I don't know what the gritty is. Is it dance?
I think so.
All right.
Woo!
Okay, I guess I'll do this next word. It's kind of. I mean, it could be. You could kind of make it spring themed.
Oh, what is it? Let me see what it is. Spring. I shall.
You could. No, now I'm gonna feel stupid because people are gonna say that. How is that spring like themed? Let me do the next one. Oh. I don't know about these words.
That's kind of like spring. Well, not that one, but this one's kind of. What? That's kind of like.
Ziggbee. Did you get these from? Where did you get these?
A random generator that you selected the difficulty and then spit it out words, and I picked some.
I see. Hold on.
And then they get harder.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Well, I feel like you're judging me, honestly. I feel like you're judging me based on what words I put in the system.
Okay. All right.
To be fair, they were random, kind of generated online.
But did you just put them all in there, or were you like some of these were like, I don't know.
I
maybe
was
won't do
picking
that.
them. You're right.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
What does it say about me then, based on what you saw?
Hey, you tried, okay? That's what it says. You tried. And that's all that matters. Is just putting in your best effort.
Kappa Pride
putting in your best
169
effort.
cheered X 100. Ziggbee blink
Whoa.
twice if you need help. Smiley face.
That's gonna be hard to do. Blink.
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 Wait, whoa, that's one blink, Ziggbee. That's one blink. Be careful, okay?
Sorry.
All right, I'm gonna do this
can't
picture
blink.
right now, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and. Okay, that's kind of good. All right.
Sib, are you pointing the right way, drawing?
Yeah, I think maybe. Okay, you
the
know what? It could
camera's
have been
here.
better. All right. Okay, there you go. Easy.
Okay.
They should have it any moment now. There we go. There we go.
It's one of those meat sticks, you know, where they put meat on a meat shabab, a kebab.
A meat shabab. It's not. Look, it's not a meat shabab. Okay, it was actually feather. And I went for a lot of detail on this one. I drew like all the strands. Is that what they're called? The strands? The feathery bits?
They're like zippers. They fit together. The bird uses its beak and it goes. I think it makes that sound too. It's like little zippers.
Yeah, you're right. Like if you were to I could see that.
Yeah.
I will say you're right, Zazzy. It does look kind of like a tree. This is Billy. It's a bluebird feather. That's why it's blue.
That makes sense.
Okay.
That makes
Zibby,
sense.
let's see. Everybody, all who got this word. Computer, calculate the word. Wait, calculate the scores and show them on the screen. Computer, we've got to simplify the system. It's so complex. Oh. Well, hey. Rose Winsome. Very nice. You know detail. Each of those individual strands, lots of time put into it. Thank you for getting it first. And Shane, second place. That's really second place again. Nice job. And Sandman, 1 second. You know,
barely got in there. Impressive.
Okay, well, for everybody else that didn't get it, I don't know if this is broken or... You know a bird leaf when you see one. It is kind of like a bird leaf. Yeah? Ziggbee, yeah?
Yes, I agree.
Wait, we were supposed to gamble!
Oh, I thought you forget about that.
Oh no, Ziggbee, did we put it in the title and we're not even gonna do it?
Okay.
It's been over an hour?
Okay, let's gamble, everybody.
Oh, no. Okay, wait, whoa. Okay, what, how do you play craps? Does anybody know?
We can just do who rolls higher.
Is that how you play it?
No. Or we could do, like, how many people get this right on the Pictionary as well.
Okay, I have an idea.
Yeah?
All right?
That's an idea.
You'll flip a dice.
Yeah?
And then you'll say what number you got, and they can't see.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, you know what? That's not so much of a thing. And they're getting very angry out there, Ziggbee, for the Gamba.
Gamba. I want Gamba now. Give me
Ziggbee,
Gamba.
There's no casino worlds?
They look kind of like lame.
Okay, yeah, they probably are lame. All right. What if we did one? Who could throw a pillow not through the glass?
169
Okay.
cheered X 100. I put in so many bits and haven't won a single game yet, said Ziggbee Wiggles.
Kappa, look, I'm sorry, but you're a winner in my book with all these bits coming my way. Thank you. You know what? Here's a complimentary Sibian. That's it. Okay. All right.
Let me reset master only.
What does that mean?
Pillows.
Ziggbee, this is way too complicated. It's gonna take so long.
Can I do the other things? Plushies, Pens.
Wait, what's going on? What is that?
I have a.
What are you doing?
I'm using the
Wait,
master
what?
control to reset everything. Though it doesn't erase the drawings, oddly. Let me see.
Where's my pencil?
The reset.
Okay, all right. Hey, it's not.
So we're gonna throw a pillow.
It's not really a twig, Billy. Just so you know, it's not a twig. It's a bluebird
Should I
feather.
put I'm moving the camera, Sib.
bird leaf thing. Okay.
So we're gonna see like, hey, look it's through the glass.
Wait, what?
We're trying to throw against the wall, and don't go through.
Well, there was a gamba from Alex. Alex, doing something other than posting forbidden things in the chat. The prediction was, will Sid manage to draw the next Pictionary? I mean, I did. Let's see though. Shane saying maybe. Shane, you got it too. And Lingata saying, no, he can't draw. Okay. Well, Ziggbee, what? Technically, you know what? Technically, I drew it. So can we pay that out, Ziggbee? Ziggbee?
You see me?
Ziggbee, where you go? Oh, Ziggbee, I see you now, Ziggbee.
What?
Who do we pay out?
Oh, what? Oh.
No, wait.
What is going
Okay,
on?
look, I'm getting too confused here, so I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna say, Shane, I'm gonna give you some points, okay? Because you guessed good, okay? And I'm gonna take away points from Lingatus, because Lingatus doesn't believe in my drawing abilities, and he,
That's not how that works,
it's
Sid.
not favoritism. Kind of. Complete prediction. There we go.
169 cheered X100. Okay, I gotta go close the store. Love you both. Have a great rest of your stream, Ziggbee.
Whoa.
I have to close the
Kappa,
store.
thank you for
Take
all
care.
the bits tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
And close up that store. And love you too.
Yeah, lock it up good. Lock
Thank
it
you
up.
for
Lock it up.
lock it up.
Lock it up.
You were team said Lingot said that you voted against me. Wait. Yeah, you voted against me. You did said no. Okay, you can't. So toxic. Trying to gaslight me. Gosh.
Who does that?
Yeah, who does that? Okay. Wait, what's Ziggbee?
What?
We gotta do a prediction.
Who can throw the pillow closest?
Okay.
Okay.
Shut up. What if we go play pool? We can do a trick shot. That's a good prediction.
Oh yeah, let's play pool. Where's the pool at? You're like,
We'll just do like one. We'll do a. It's up in the penthouse thing.
oh here?
There we go. They're getting mad.
It's in here?
We gotta give them points,
I
Ziggbee.
guess we got everybody. I'm gonna put you on my back. You can come with me, okay?
Oh.
Here we go.
Emma. Oh wait, it's down, Ziggbee.
Here we
Down, not up. Whoa.
Ooh.
There we go. Okay.
I'm gonna go in the door.
I don't know how to play this though. How do I turn? Oh, wait, there it is.
Welcome, go down the
Okay.
stairs. Is that the very bottom?
Yeah. There we go. Now
Couch
we
is
got
a-
some gambling. Who won Pictionary? I think we only did like. Did we just do 2 drawings?
Camera, you have to get closer. No, camera, come here.
All right.
Ooh.
I
I actually had to reset it.
Can you push toggle, Ziggbee?
Oh,
Over here.
where is it at?
Right here. Oh,
There.
did it work? You see anything? Oh, yours too short, Ziggbee.
What do you mean too short?
You're not gonna be able to get up there. Wait.
Is there an elevator?
Okay, wait, whoa. Okay, tap here.
Okay.
Excuse me. So rude.
There's chips here. I need to get some chips. I'm gonna get snacks at the
gosh.
store. I'm gonna get so many freaking snacks. You're gonna be like, Ziggbee, that's too many snacks. I'm just kidding. That's not what you would say. I don't think. but I'll pretend because I don't know comedy.
Horrible. Oh my gosh.
Wait, how do I fix the camera? Okay, there we go. Ziggbee, that's
All
too
right, this
many
is-
sweets.
Yeah, this one's wild. Okay. Ziggbee. Do you see those?
Yeah, I do.
There we go. Okay. Okay.
Ziggbee, that's
Um,
too many sweets for you.
Let's to test the waters here. Is that how I sound? Is that
No.
what you're making?
Wait, do me.
Ziggbee.
Do me. Do my. Do...
No, I'm gonna get some sweets. I'm gonna get some
I'll do
sweets.
you. I want to get some sweets. That's you.
No, don't sound like that. What accent is that?
No.
My gosh. So rude. All right.
Oh my gosh, is this a lighter? Oh no, that's
Ziggbee, no.
Oh,
Wait.
that's a couch leg. It looks like a lighter.
Yeah, that does look like
Sus.
a lighter. Okay,
Is
Ziggbee,
this
no
stuff
more
under the
distracting me.
couches?
I want to
Oh,
see
look
how
for-
this
Are there
how this thing
socks under
plays.
there?
Okay.
Did they put socks under
Okay.
their things? No, they don't see anything under there. What kind of couch
I'm
is
gonna
that?
start this out with a trick shot. Behind the back. Wait.
Wait, can we make the can we make it physical? Let's see.
Ziggbee, maybe we need to move the camera. It's very.
What do
Okay,
you
wait,
mean? Where you want to
trick
move
shot.
it to?
Oh,
There you go.
wait. Dude, Ziggbee. All right, I'm not quite ready for the trick shots. That's coming up though. You wait. Oh, that's backwards. Hold on. Okay. All right.
I can't even
Where's the
pick these
camera? Okay.
chips up. Does anybody want chips? Here, I'll throw some. Oh, I can't.
Oh,
Oops,
I
I
see.
ate the chips.
Whoa! Woo!
Here's some chips for
There we
you.
go. I broke it. Ziggbee, just feeding them like that?
Yeah, they like chips. Here you go. Here's some chips for you, okay?
Not too many chips, okay?
What? Only like 2? There you go.
You need Ziggbee, that was like 3.
One was broken. It
Okay.
didn't count. It didn't count if it's broken.
Yeah, how do we gamble on this? That was a good question, Lingotis. I should have thought of it better the first time.
This is the worst casino stream ever. Maybe we won't gamble.
I know, Ziggbee. Look, it's not my fault that I get easily distracted, okay? It's not my fault. It's not. Okay. Ziggbee, I think it's your turn. I'll give you one practice hit, okay?
How do you get one practice hit?
You see how it plays. See how it plays, and then we'll do a prediction. Who's gonna get the first? Who's gonna pocket the first ball?
So does it do I have to push anything to make it trigger or just poke it?
yeah, you hold the trigger when you have it lined up, and then you poke it.
Okay. It doesn't change colors though. Is that okay? Oh, I see what you're talking about. Okay. I can't really see. wait, what are you laughing at? I have to go through the table like a
nothing.
ghost.
Yeah, that's kind of odd.
I got one in a hole.
All right. Well, that one that was not a prediction.
I got one in a hole.
Okay.
I think. It was an
All right,
orange
all
one.
right. You know, okay, this is not fair. We're gonna have to end the game
Okay.
and restart it.
Okay, we restarted them. It says Sibat wins?
Oh my gosh, Ziggbee, you have to push the thing again.
The button?
Yeah.
There you go. Did it do it? Oh,
Did you do it?
this thing too? There you go.
Yeah. All right, there we go. This is officially begun, okay? This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do a prediction. Who's gonna get the first to like 4 points? Is that okay? And then we'll abandon this thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of gambling. That's basically gambling.
Yeet! Yeah, it is. We can do that.
Just, Ziggbee, did anybody even redeem that?
Let me look.
Redeemed.
No.
Oh, Alex, I gave you your Sandman. Oh, Sandman! Thank you for the yeet! Ziggbee, that was for Sandman?
Here you go. This is spicy.
Wait, what's that?
This is spicy
Ziggbee?
one. Okay, don't eat it unless you like spicy. There you go. What?
Ziggbee.
You got some people like spicy.
Oh, Zazzy, I forgot. Zazzy, I'm sorry I forgot your Sibbean a la carte. Here you go. Just real quick. That's it. That's it. Too long. Too long. What's going on? Okay. All right. What's going on? Like, I feel like my tail is just flying all around. Where is it? Okay. Forget that. I'm getting distracted again. Okay. Zazzy, thank you. Paige, we need a yeet for Paige, and then also Darkest Ziggbee. Let's get some. Wait, hey,
What?
Ziggbee.
What?
What was that?
Not those stars.
What was that? Ziggbee, what are you giving them?
Devil stars. They give them some dazzle stars.
Look, they don't want that, Ziggbee. What they want is okay. Okay, close your eyes or put your phone down, ideally. If
Camera's
not,
too
sorry.
high.
But this is what you want right here. Here you go.
There we go.
Okay, Ziggbee, we might have lost
Might
some
have to
people.
put some. Is it like this? Is that better? A little bit.
No, like it needs to be like maybe like right here.
Right here?
Yeah, perfect. All right. Okay.
How can they see me though? Hello.
Ziggbee, there has to be like an option.
Oh, I can sit in the silhouette of the Can I break this glass? It's pretty safe. It's pretty safe to pass the safety test.
All right. Oh, we gotta do a prediction. Hold on, I'm gonna write it up. Ziggbee, you explain to them what the prediction is.
Oh my gosh! Forever falling! The prediction is, I don't know. I think whoever gets to 4 points first is the prediction. Look, look, I found pot. So what should I do with this? I found the pot. Look, there's more pot. There's a lot of pot in this room. Woo, boing, boing.
Ziggbee, you need to calm down, okay?
I'll try to calm down.
We're gonna have a talk after this.
Oh my god.
All right?
We're gonna have a talk. No.
Actually, yes, Ziggbee, we are gonna have a talk.
No,
Okay?
I want to go get snacks and stuff, I think.
Snacks?
Yeah.
Snacks?
Yeah, some sweet treats. I might even get this sour strips. You like sour strips, Sip?
Okay, maybe I'll allow it.
Okay.
Then. The sour strips are pretty good.
Oh my goodness, they have flavors.
Let me type up this thing. Oh my
okay,
gosh.
I'm sorry. Everybody, I like sour candy sometimes. I think you need to get any cupcakes, maybe. Oh, there were some good cookies. I had some good peanut butter cookies that were very yummy a while ago. I got munchies. Wait, why are you making me say munchies? Who gave him the munchies? What gave me the munchies? I always like foods and treats and stuff. Give me the munchies. There's actually a product called the munchies. It has all kinds of miscellaneous things in it. It's great for if you get the munchies, I guess. It has like Doritos and pretzels and what happened? I went to the glass and I changed colors a little bit. What is this? What magic is this? I think I found some magic. Do you see that? Let me go back like this. Oh! It must be like a shader on the glass here that's messing with me. Thank you. Rose Winsome? Yes, they are. I agree. The munchies are very good. They're very yummy. Holy Ziggbee. Yeah, I need to go back further. Whoops. Let's try that again. Oh! Behold.
The prediction is in. Ziggbee has explained to you what it is, so I don't need to say it, but I will say it again to kill some time. Who will get 4 points first? Is it Pool Shark Sib? Hey, what can I say? What can I say? You know? What can I say? Or is it the rookie Ziggbee? Right now, it's pretty split. You got a few minutes to get in there to show your support for your favorite otter. Or perhaps, I guess, you know.
Your support. Oh, I
ferret
toggle the
and
thing?
Ziggbee.
Or does that break it?
I'm sorry, Ziggbee. Oh, why is my leg
What
going
does this
crazy?
do? Toggle UI.
Ziggbee, don't press buttons.
Okay.
You don't know what they do.
Okay, sometimes I like to though. It's fun. Because then you find out what they do. And it's like, oh, that's what does the thing that breaks the stuff.
Whoa. Okay. Look, we got Ziggbee.
Yeah, what's up?
Somebody put 5K for you. Who is that? So who's picking Tatum?
Tatum, don't put 5K
Tatum?
for me, jeez.
After the deluxe sibbings? Oh my gosh.
Tatum, I'm not that good.
Yeah, kiss those channel points goodbye. And listen, we put in 2,000. Algernon! And there's gonna be a big windfall for you. A lot of big payout. Big payout. All right, that's it. That's all I got. Ziggbee, you do your. Wait, what is that?
What
are you doing?
I'm dancing on the windowsill.
Okay, I'll allow it.
You heard of Fiddler on the Roof. I bet you haven't heard the Ferret on the windowsill.
Fiddler on the roof?
Yeah.
I have not heard of that, actually, Ziggbee.
Oh, that's
a
a thing, I think. I think it exists. I think it's real. Listen to that music. It's royalty free. That's why it's not that great.
Oh, Ziggbee.
What? I'll try a different playlist for fun. It might be bad though. Let's see what I have here.
Okay. Let me see here. Hold on. Noah, thank you for believing in me. Where's them cameras? There they are. Noah, thank you. You won't regret it. I promise you. Hopefully. Let's see. Let me write down. Let me take notes of the Sib betrayers. Okay. Paige Mustang. Okay. Damn it. Alright, actually. Alright, let's not do that. But, Shane, thank you. Sib. Ow, whisker. I'm always pulling my whisker. I'll fix that. Who else is with me? Lee Goddess, thank you. And Noah. This is, they're gonna be big regrets. Not you. Okay, I mean them. You know who I'm talking about. Okay, Ziggbee, I'm going here. I'm gonna break this.
You break all the things.
No, to clarify, I am not gonna break anything. I think that's the term for starting, and I'm gonna. Okay.
Make sure you take out an insurance claim before you break it. Or actually, is it after?
No, Ziggbee, I just explained.
After you break it, yeah.
There we go. Whoa! Wait, what? I saw a color. Did I get one?
Wait, does it say a score on there?
Wait, where's the score? It used to be on the other side. Wait. So I'll go get one. 0! Hold on, this thing's broken.
Oh,
okay,
it's my turn.
I'll let you go. Wait,
it's my turn
is
now.
it your turn or is it mine?
It's my turn now.
All right, hey, this game might be broken, so I'm sorry if you voted for me or something.
Wait, why can't I grab the stick? I get my own.
You get your own stick. Ooh. Alex, look, I'm not going to invite you because you're just going to chase me around as a crab again.
Oh, what do I have to do? Get balls in holes?
Yes.
Does it matter if I hit the blue balls? Or the other?
I don't know, because I thought I got one in, but I don't know how games work. So I see no indication of what we're supposed to do. So just keep trying.
Come on, blue ball.
Okay.
Oh, my thing fell in the hole.
Well, I got a point, Ziggbee. I got a point.
Oh no!
Woo!
I should have did more gentle.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Oh, did you get that in there? Is that why?
Yeah, I got the white
now,
ball.
Now I think. Does anybody know what color I am? Is it blue?
Oh wait, do you have the correct color in?
I don't know, Ziggbee. I don't know what's going on.
Well,
oh, wait.
the white ball fell in, so maybe that's why you got a point. I don't know.
Okay, you know what? I'm going through the table.
Does anybody know how this plays?
Does anybody know how to?
Is it based on color?
Yeah. Let me hold on. I got you. I'm gonna do a trick shot. When this is not a trick shot, I will do a trick shot though.
Okay.
Oh.
Did you get a point?
Yeah, I got a point, Ziggbee.
You get to go again too,
You better watch
right?
it. Oh, I gotta go
I
again?
think so.
Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking. Okay, all right.
Sorry,
All right.
everybody, if you voted for me. Sorry, Tatum Pancake.
Yeah.
I'm not very good.
Bad decision, Tatum. That's okay though. That's okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. All right.
Stripes and solids,
Okay,
Mount
let me
Laurel.
see.
Can we do either? Do we have to do specific ones? Like is Sib blue?
Ziggbee, it is blue because now it's lit up for blue. Can you get the camera? I'm gonna
Oh.
do a trick shot here. Okay.
Okay. Camera ferret. How do I get it so I can see all your trickery?
Okay.
Whoa! Don't get cursed!
Whoa, what was
Don't
that?
get cursed! Dispel!
Ziggbee, who's cursing
Dispel.
me?
I don't know. It's probably Alex, honestly.
Thank you, Ziggbee. Spelling. Okay. Wait, where's the camera?
The camera's like right here.
Okay. Just make sure it's a good shot. The camera shot. Okay. Because this one's.
Oh yeah, this is like the money shot. Yes.
Okay. Wait. How does this work?
Boom, boom.
Wait.
Can I go on the table and distract you? Whoa!
No.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Is that cheating? That's probably cheating.
That's my. What's going on here? What is going on here?
I don't know what you're doing. You're doing fancy stuff up there, Sid.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to. Wait.
It looks like you
You have-
almost have
okay.
it.
There we go. Hold on. Ziggbee, does it look cool on the stream?
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Everybody, does it look cool on the
It
stream?
looks pretty cool.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna sing number 4.
4 in the side pocket.
Well, you know, hey, where's the camera?
Right behind you.
Oh, wait.
You see it? It's
Oh.
right here.
Hey, I tried. Okay, Ziggbee, you want to do a trick shot?
How? I can't even.
The design is very human.
I don't even have a stepping stool. So if I hit the yellow in there, can I do it from the windowsill? Wait, I can do that one kind of. I still my toes.
Can I get on the table and distract you?
No,
Woo! Woo!
I see what you're doing there.
How does that feel, Ziggbee?
Feels pretty good.
Feels good? Oh.
Yeah, it feels
wow,
pretty
okay.
good.
Oh, and we gotta do a Pictionary. Okay, we did not think this through.
I got one.
Oh, what? I don't. I
got
feel like
one.
that might have been cheating.
Did I get one for real?
Yeah, you got one. You got a point.
Where'd the white ball go? Oh, there it is.
It's right here.
Okay. Let's see here if I can tell my tippy toes.
So Ziggbee is orange stripe.
I wish you could do like more stabilization.
It's okay. Just stream for 3 hours. Thank you. It might.
I
might
can't
be
really
6
see.
hours. I trust you.
Can't really see.
Whoa! Wait a minute.
I get a point. I got a
Yeah.
point.
Okay, we're tied.
I have to go again.
Yeah.
It's hard to see.
You just need to say that once. We got it.
It's like extra hard for me.
Well, it's not. It's not really though.
It's kind of like very challenging because I'm in the table sometimes. Okay, I need to see.
No, I feel like it's probably more difficult for me because I was doing trick shots.
Oh. Let's see if I can go back up here. If I can get. Okay.
Well, Ziggbee.
Let's see. This is really hard. I got 3 points. Okay, I get to go one more
Well,
time. Let's
okay,
see. That one's pretty close, but I don't know if I can hit that in too. Oh, well, that
Okay.
one's pretty. That one's like lined up a little bit.
I don't know about that one, Ziggbee.
I think I could possibly.
I don't know. I think it's a long shot.
Let's see. How does that look?
Very, very far away.
Let me see if I can line it up a little better. Oh, I didn't mean to move. Oh, I messed up.
Whoa! Whoa! 8-ball! 8-ball!
What?
Sib wins!
Oh no, I didn't see.
Woo! Woo!
Aww.
Whoa! Whoa! Okay.
Aww.
Woo!
Aww.
That's what. Okay, I gotta fix that.
Aww.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Does that count for the prediction though? Because
Look
I
at
did
Sib,
say
I
4
won.
points,
I
and technically
lost.
neither of us got 4 points.
I lost him.
All right. Does that count? Does that count?
Oh, thank you, Zazzy Ferret. Thank you. I was trying to look from either side, and I was still holding
No.
the thing so it hit it.
Nobody wins. Does not count. That's not how that works, though. All right. The mods are saying no. That does not count.
Boy, that is true. It's based
I
on
am sorry,
points.
Noah, Algernon, Shane. The mods do not want you to have points.
Ziggbee, this is a scam. Yeah,
I
basically.
think it might be rigged. I'm sorry. We're gonna try to fix the corruption within our community. Okay.
Oh, are we doing a
for
corporate thing
now,
again? Let's do a corporate thing. It's fun. Okay,
What corporate thing?
let's go. Let's maybe put some flowers or something. Like, let's go over here. Okay, we'll go over here like this.
Yeah, corruption.
Okay.
Alex.
Okay, everybody.
Wait, who
I want to say your personal data is very important to us, and we take it very seriously. We take it very seriously. We're gonna update our privacy policy.
earn them points.
We're gonna look for corruption, and we're gonna investigate all these claims.
That's true.
This is
okay. Your data is very important to
Yes,
us.
it's
Okay,
very
we get paid a lot of money
Yes.
to sell it.
Yes.
And we want to make sure
It's
that
very
the data
important.
is of the utmost
we
quality.
take this seriously.
We take this seriously.
Yes.
All right? This is real talk. Okay.
hmm
A lot goes into these streams. Okay. A lot
Thank
of
you,
planning.
Paige.
Each stream is planned.
We are very transparent.
Months in advance. Okay. We have a team of 60 people. 60 people helping with the production
Yes.
of these streams.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
very important to us.
Yes. I think we did it, Sib. I think we did damage control. We did public
Yeah,
relations.
They fell for that. They fell for it.
High
Okay.
five.
We gotta do Pictionary because we only did 2.
I fought.
And then you know what? That's enough gambling. Hey, this was a trick stream, okay? If you joined because of the gambling, I got you, okay? Bad gambling, okay? You need to stop. Okay. Wait, where's the pens? Where are the pens at? Oh wait, here's one.
It's okay. I gave myself a high five. Are we going to the other room,
Okay,
Sib?
let's see. Yeah, you know what? Let's find a cool background.
Thank you, Zazzy, for the high five.
Let's see. I don't know. Pick a background, Ziggbee. This is too tough.
Kappa Pride 169 cheered X100 scuffed stream.
Yeah. Yes, it is. That's very true. Very accurate.
I mean, I guess I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I mean, I think it is technically true, but yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's scuffed. No, I'm gonna admit it. You know, I have the confidence. Okay, look at me. Look at me. Ziggbee, get out of the way so they can look at me. Ziggbee, get out of the way so they can look at me. Okay, I have extreme big otter confidence. And you know what? It's a little scuff. I will admit it. All right, Ziggbee, draw this word. Wait, that one's too easy. Okay, draw this one.
Okay.
And remember, these words are themed to not be themed. You have stinky face and confidence. Excuse me?
Kappa Pride
Excuse
169 cheered X100. It's okay, it's a lot of fun, whatever you'll do, Ziggbee Blip.
Aw. I thought that it read the emote, and I thought it's Ziggbee Blep. I thought it said Ziggbee leaving it. They got it.
Do I have any big pills down here? I think there used to be.
Oh man, we got Ziggbee. We haven't even been doing these redeems.
I can refund them.
Shane is calling you out, saying to check your posture because something's up.
Mine?
Yeah, that's what Shane is saying.
Shane, my posture is perfect. No, just kidding. Let's see.
What I love about Ziggbee is his posture reminds me of like a shrimp,
Wait, what?
and it's.
I remind you.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, it's kind of like whoop, like that, like a. So that's just one of the many things I love about Ziggbee. And Sam, thank you for.
I like a shrimp.
And Shane, thank you for checking Zigbee's posture. I hope it is to your satisfaction. Kappa Pride, thank you for the shrimp. Thank you. Oh, you just wanted to stretch and not honor himself as he stands for so long. Wow, so considerate.
Thank you. I'll stretch up above. The skies above.
Ziggbee, don't hurt yourself.
Okay,
Don't hurt yourself, okay?
Right.
Don't stretch too much, all right?
Then-
Ziggbee, yeah.
I think we should go pretty soon because
Okay, you know what?
if I gotta get my treats.
Sometimes it's a hit or miss, okay?
I can double jump? What?
Hey, Ziggbee, no double jumping.
I can double jump.
Okay, well, a lot of
How?
people got this one, Ziggbee. Axes, shades! Whoa, multiple first. Is that spicy? Spicy! Lean Goddess! Nice job. Hold on, my throat is part. Wait, I never even did the hydrate from earlier, Ziggbee.
You can get some
Oh,
water.
we got other redeems. I forgot about those. Good job. And Shane, too, in second place. Shane, what are you doing? How are you in second place so much? And then one of these days we're gonna fix this spot. Rose Winsome. Very nice job.
And we see the grand
And
total.
actually, yeah, that's the first. You got it. Like microseconds before anybody else.
Boing, boing.
One day, but that day is not today. We will fix these fonts and upgrade everything, and it's really
Hide the
gonna be kinda cool.
score. Sib, I'm gonna show the grand score.
Oh, okay. Ziggbee wants. Hey. Zigbee's sick of you, so. Go ahead, Ziggbee. Do your thing. Oh, we got redeems too, Ziggbee. I forgot about this. Okay, no more redeems. We're cutting them off. Ziggbee, let's announce the winner.
Oh my gosh, now I'm gonna cramp on my side. What's happening?
See, that's what you get for stretching, Ziggbee. See,
That was from laughing.
never stretch, okay?
I'm gonna try to make it better.
Axie, I believe in you. You will get Pictionary
Stretch a little
champion
bit.
someday. Who knows? I don't know.
Jeez.
Okay, wait. We got
think I'm
yeets
okay
like crazy
now.
on here. We got brushies. Ziggbee, can we get 2 yeets for Paige and Darkest?
Yes, I can do that.
Yeah, I'll yeet Darkest. I got you.
Yeet.
I got you.
Oh, that one didn't make it quite.
Yeah, that's not very good. Should we do a prediction? No, never mind. No more pillow predictions.
I don't think I'm inside. Ah.
Hey, that was pretty close though. That was pretty close. Okay.
Let me rearrange
okay,
my.
we got 2 yeets. And then we
rib
need a
cage.
brushie. Ziggbee, did you bring the brushie with
There
you?
you go. No, I didn't.
What are you doing? Are you just scratching
No, I'm
yourself?
pressing in my side. Okay, it's better now, I think.
Oh, okay. Can we get
Don't
can we
laugh
get
again,
some
Ziggbee.
brushies?
Jeez. I was laughing too. I think I need to stretch. I think I haven't stretched in a while. Oh, sorry, what's going on? I'm
Ziggbee,
zooming.
you're gonna-
I'm zoning.
You need to
Oh,
do a brushie with this pencil.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. The windows were in the way. Okay with the
Ziggy, I'm
brushies?
gonna give you those points back since that's technically not a.
How do you
a brush.
brushy with this? Brushy, 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 brushy. Actually, it's like flatten, flatten, flatten. Flatten, 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 flatten.
Like you
I could erase my...
Ziggbee.
I'm not disappearing. Because I'm real.
There's your scuff cheap brushies. Now let's see. Who won Pictionary? All 3 of these. Okay, we played 3 games. Was it 3 games?
Oh no.
3 games. Okay, who won? Computer. Calculate those scores and show us, computer, show us what those scores are.
Oh my god.
Show me those games. Show me those game scores. Whoa, it's Rose for 34 points. 1 point behind Shane. So close. And Lean Goddess in 3rd. Did you hurt your side from all that stretching?
I'm laughing. It's got a little stretch, a little.
Oh yeah.
Just on the side.
It's okay. I know. Hey, I'm a funny otter. Rose, nice job. Wow. I don't think you. This is your first time, right? That's crazy, Ziggbee. You gotta. Can we get some words from the ferret?
Hello. Words from the ferret. No, just kidding. Rose Winsome, congratulations being the first time. I think it's your first time winning Pictionary. Congratulations. What's your name in Discord?
Ziggbee. Oh my god.
I don't know.
Unbelievable.
I'm not omnipotent.
Oh, second time. Ziggbee, see, we should know these
You're
things.
the one I was pushing for first time. I was not sure.
Look, okay, Ziggbee. I mean, look. It's been 2 years.
No. Oh no.
Ziggbee, unbelievable. Ziggbee. No more laughing.
I'm trying.
No more laughing. Knock it off. Knock it off. No, I'm just kidding. Ziggbee.
Yeah,
Okay.
what's up?
Okay. All right. Zigbee's broken. Rose.
You're broken.
The sincerest of apologies for Ziggbee. Even I knew. Look, I'm not even active in the Discord. I knew I knew you were Rose Winsome there. And I am sorry though. I will admit that I did not know that you had won Pictionary before. No apologies. Yeah, you're right, Paige. No apologies. I take that back. Okay, you're right, Scott. I do need to put Ziggbee to bed.
I'm gonna go get snacks. You can't stop
No,
me.
you're not. You're not. You understand me? You're not.
Please.
Okay. I'll let
thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you.
See, that's how we do it around here. Okay, we party hard. Look, I'm sorry. That was kind of a little bit too much. Okay. That one was a little bit too much. I'll admit that. Okay.
Yeah, I do. Can't stop the zig.
It's true. Whoa.
Look at my
I
skateboard.
like the guitar riff. All right. You know what? Honorable mentions for the Pictionary. I'm gonna speed read it. Wait, do we got another one of these? A hydrate from Axolotl. Hold on, let me get some. I could really hydrate actually right now. So let me
Get some hydration.
I'm getting those. I'm getting that hydrate. And let me crack open a fresh coconut. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on, man. I always forget how to like hold. Hold on. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, let me see. Honorable mentions: Sandman, Noah, Paige, Algernon, Atreyu. Where's my drink? Atreyu, Zazzy, Axie, Spicy, Tatum, Werewolf Billy, Taylor. Okay. Oh, Foolest Coolest, Valerie, and Isaac. Nice job. Whoa! And look at all those shrimps coming in, Ziggbee. Ooh. Can't stop them. Thank you, Strawberry. Thank you, Isaac. Ziggbee, say thank you for, I guess that's sugar.
Thank you very much for the sugar. I appreciate it. No. I like the sugar. Thank you. He only gets one shrimp for yelling at Ziggbee.
Whoa, wait. Excuse me? One shrimp, Tatum? Tatum.
I keep...
One shrimp is not going to do anything. Unbelievable. You can't just have one shrimp. That's a lot of effort just to have one shrimp, I'm just saying.
You get more shrimps if you are like the sweetest to me.
That is true. What was that?
I was laughing cynically, or evilly, or diabolically.
Evilly, Ziggbee.
Don't diabolically, like it's a plan, like excellent.
To bribe me with shrimps?
Yeah. I gotta control you with shrimps.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
Thank you, Ziggbee. Thank you, Accent Chase, for the shrimp.
Gosh,
Ziggbee, can we get some closing words for the Zigbeans? Maybe some words of inspiration, that kind of thing, so on and so forth.
If you believe in yourself, others might believe in you too.
That's true. And personally, I believe in you, and I hope that you're doing good, and that things are gonna get cool. Okay, we're gonna change
Actually, it's a little different page with me, because if everyone stops believing in me, I disappear.
Ziggbee, talk over me.
Yes, I did. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm new Ziggbee now.
All right, I'm sorry, Ziggbee.
That's right, you make mistakes.
See, there is a market for this. That's what I've been saying, is these mean streamers. I've not seen too many mean streamers. I've seen a few. I won't name names, because I think they are seriously just mean. Okay, but I think there is a market out there. All right, I think there is a market.
Yes, there is. I think you'd be good at a sib. That doesn't mean, I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Excuse me. You're saying I'm mean?
Okay, everybody, thanks for hanging out with all of us.
Okay.
I hope you had fun in our Scuff stream. We're gonna head out, and I'll try to get some snacks, hopefully, really quick, and we'll see if I can. And yeah, we love you all very much, platonically, of course.
Whoa! We're trying to rush. Hey, come here. Get in here for a hug, everybody.
Okay, good hugs. Give me one hug, only if you want.
Good job. You keep it. No, you come in. Give me a hug. Okay. Don't be shy.
Give you big
keep up the good work. Keep going strong.
Go strong.
And we're gonna update those fonts one of these days.
One of these days.
On the Pictionary
It's
board.
only been, I don't know, 2 years. It's fine.
Keep being a Sib believer. Zig believer. Okay.
Believer.
Sib roast. Excuse me.
Roast. What is?
Okay.
All right. Let's.
I'll pay you to be mean to small. You don't know if you have to pay me.
No, isn't that why you're?
Yes,
that's why you're doing
yes.
it. You get paid to be mean. That's like your, like it's your skit.
Yeah, Ziggbee. That's what I'm saying. That market out there.
There you go.
For someone to be like, real mean and keeping them in line.
Yeah.
All
Gotta
right.
gaslight them and stuff.
You know what? Let's get out of here, Ziggbee. Let's get out of here.
Goodbye, everybody. Hope you had fun. I'm gonna zoomies. Let's zoomies to the camera. That might be fun, right?
Camera.
Kind of like a bowling ball or something.
Okay.
Good night, everybody. Have a good weekend. Okay.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.
And a happy weekend.
Happy weekend.
Or something like that.
Something like that.
Goodbye.
I'm gonna get snacks.
Well, we'll see. Well,